feels that recent events and purge of the station must not reflect badly on its reputation. It is required that each and every corner of the facility is cleaned by Friday, no delays. Your conduct in this matter will reflect on your record and decide your continuing employment. We expect each and every employee to conduct themselves in a manner briefed in the company's honour.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Viscera Cleanup Detail. Now, this is a game in which you basically have to clean things up. I'm sure you know what this game is. I've always wanted to play this game. Let's start from the beginning. I've always wanted to play this game. This looks really, really fun for me. Mainly because it's one of those games where if anyone watches my stuff, I mean some people do out there, you'll know that I have this ridiculous OCD in which things have to be done in a certain way. It has to be done fully and completed and as best of my ability. And this game is going to be a bugger for me. I can tell you it already is, because this is already happened and I'm giving you the play-by-play of what I did. It's going to speed up as well. This is the entire level. You're going to get to see the whole thing here. And I am basically aiming for 100% solo running. I'm not trying to get it any quicker than anyone yet. I don't believe in speed necessarily. But, yes, this is going to be a solo 100% attempt at this level. Just to see if it's possible for me to do it. See if it's fun. Or if it's just boring and laboured. And yeah, so for those that don't actually know what this game is, you are given levels where something horrible has happened. Also, I better mention that if you get motion sickness, then this isn't going to be a great level for you, because most of this video is going to be sped up. So if you are affected by motion sickness, I'd say probably give it a skip. Thank you very much for getting this far in the video. But the way this game basically works is there is a complete and total mess, and your job is to tidy up using the things that you have around you. And one of the things you can see I'm using here is a bin. Now these bins are good for collecting a lot of debris. The brooms are good because there you go, that was actually stuck. It would like glitched into the floor, and the broom allows me to kind of sweep it around. Now this is a small level. This is considered a small level. And I was looking for the furnace. There it is. Basically you have to put all rubbish in the furnace. You have to clean all the blood and soot and anything else with your mop. Your mop will get dirty quite quickly, so you basically have to get a bucket of water from the dispenser and clean the mop. And then once the bucket of water gets dirty, you have to destroy that in the fire as well. And then yeah, basically you can either take everything one by one to the furnace, or you can put everything one by one in one of these bins and then take the bin to the furnace. But yeah, I'm one of those people that is very like anal retentive about how things are done. I was lucky I found a bucket there, because yeah, there is certain, in my mind there is definitely a certain order in which to do things, and this game feels very much like you have to do the floor first, very much so, because if you walk in anything that's messy, you will track footprints around, which makes it considerably worse to clean. So you have to do a nice clean path from the furnace to the dispensers. Because 9 times out of 10, like this level, they're not in the same room. So I start at the furnace, because that's where everything has to go back to. So you might as well clean that first and work out from there. But you need at least a nice clean path all the way to your dispensers, so you can get backwards and forwards with ease. Then, just slowly work out. Work out from the furnace, getting rid of everything, little by little. Work doing the floors first, and then, once you've cleared a floor in a room, work up. Look on the walls, look on the ceilings. Every floor, you see, look there, behind that panel was some body parts and some blood. So you have to obviously clean that up a bit. But yeah, the way the mop works is if you clean, it gets dirty. But if you clean too much, it will start making a mess when you use it. However, that only happens when you're cleaning a mess with the mop. So for example, every now and then you'll see me clean the wall and then just go crazy cleaning all over the place. You can do that because if there's no more mess on there, it won't pick anything else up and it won't make anything else messy. And that's your way of knowing that there is nothing else there on that wall. Another job, which is pretty much in every level, which you may have seen just now, is there are, see, trying to get it fitted in without anything falling out of it. But yeah, is USB sticks. I've got 2 on the floor over here. And essentially, you see now, look, the whole floor is now clean. So I'm now looking on the walls and looking up. And I can see that there's some dirt. I check to make sure there's nothing behind that panel, because you never can tell with this. Check behind the boxes, because there can be things hiding behind the boxes. And now I need to use this. This is a lift. It can be a problem, because it can throw you around. It can get jammed. See, right here, for example, I'm trying to get that bit out, and it's jammed, but it can't really go much higher. So I realised that I've got to move it across. And there you go, I managed to get the things down. You see, that's jammed, so I've had to use the broom there to jam it out of the floor. Get jammed again. But you see the bucket's used, so we burn the bucket. Bye bye bucket. And then I've got to move it across because it wasn't fully there. And this allows me to clean the whole area. And then that is this whole area done. I tried to use this sniffer, and if we're being honest, I could not work out how to use it properly when I was playing. It turns out I wasn't listening to the audio. And I think one of the biggest things is the sound that it gives off, and I didn't realise. But you see, I needed to come back for a bucket, so I decide what I'm going to do is when I go back is I'll take the USB sticks and put them in the PC, because then that's part of the job done, and it allows me to come back and pick up stuff like buckets and these containers. So you see, I need a rubbish container. I realise that I can clean that because there's no body parts there. You have to be careful, because if you knock a body part on something, it will make a blood spatter, and you don't want that. So you have to be carrying the body parts really carefully. Whereas, yeah, any of the rubbish is fine. You can do what you want with that. Now, I'm not sure how long people are going to watch into this. Hopefully, you know, at least this far. I've started playing this game. I'm sure you can understand why. And you can probably guess exactly why I've started playing this game now. However, I'm still not going to let you in completely. But, if you've never seen this before, there is a very special level of this game. And I'm going to be attempting that next week. I'm going to be 100% solo running it, because now I've played this level, I understand what it is I need to do. I'm not going to say right now whether I get 100% on this level or not. You have to wait until the end. However, the result of this helped me to understand what it is I need to do for the special level next week. Now, next week is a very different week, because it's Christmas week. So yeah, so keep an eye out for that next week. Probably around Thursday. And you see this corridor is now completely done as well. There is some still stuff I need to do. I haven't done the ceiling yet. And I haven't done an extra thing yet, which I'll go back and do in a minute. But it's like I said, I prefer to try and do very organised, very ordered. So yeah, all the little things you put in one of these buckets. You see, that there was a leg. It was quite a big leg. I try to not put that, like this as an example. I try to not put the big items that need incinerating in the buckets, because I found they can freak out. The geometrics when you try to pick up the bucket can cause problems and things fly out, and then you get blood splatters and things, and it becomes a whole state. You see, there was more body parts hidden behind a panel there. Now, this being a small level, there are things that are not in this level that are in others. So, for example, in some of these levels, found another USB stick. In some of these levels, there are very specific areas that you need to restack stuff. So things like the crates, for example, or the barrels, like there. There's a bunch of barrels in this corner. Those barrels there. Well, in some of the other levels, there will be a very distinct area that all the barrels have to be kept in, and you have to collect all the barrels, not burn any, and make sure that they all get put in the same place. So that is, it just gives you an extra thing to do in the bigger levels. So you see, I've done everything on the floor and on the walls that I can reach up to here now, and I've got to the point with the gun. Now this is another thing you have to do. Basically, there are bullet holes, because you've seen me pick up a load of bullet casings. There are bullet holes in the wall, and part of what you have to do is use this gun to essentially get rid of all the bullet holes. But the problem you have is if you use the gun too much, it can put scorch marks and fire and another hole in the wall where you use it. I did practice another level after playing this video, after recording this, and it was not funny. Because there was one bullet hole that I could not get rid of, because every time I used the gun it just sparked out, causing another hole, and it wasn't fun. But there you go. So except for the bullet holes, I have now completely cleared this entire area up to this point. So I'll find another body part in the ceiling. Now it just needs a nice clean. And you you see now, this is my point as far as I'm aware, other than the bullet holes. I feel like that I'm almost done, but it's obstructed, so I need to wait for it to sort itself out and then move it slightly. That will then allow me, and you see, look, there are 2 more body parts. Now this is a choice. I choose to drop them on the floor so that I can clean the area, and that then means that they've made marks on the floor, but it allows me to do the whole of the upstairs first, and I don't have to go back up the lift. See, if you had multiple people, you'd be able to get other people to help you there. And then I move it to here, because as far as I'm concerned, I need to go up here now, because you can kind of basically see. Get rid of all of that. Now this arch thing, this panel that's up there, this here, right here, this is a problem for me. And I think there's more stuff going on up here than I would like. I feel like there might be a body part up there. I feel like there might be some blood up there. I'm not sure, because the problem I have is the machine itself won't go any higher than it did just now, which means I can't really see if there is anything up there. And you can see here with the gun, you don't want to push it for too long, just short bursts. You will find out the rough length you have to push it in order for it to get rid of it but not spark out. And then I look around for any more, and as far as I'm aware, that is the entire corridor and room. All completely done, no more bullet holes, no more blood or anything. However, this thing freaks out when I get under that bar, and that's why I feel that there is something still up there, but I can't get up any higher. I give the room once more a once over, and then I shift everything up, because now I need to work on the corridors that are just off here. I noticed that there are bullet holes in the floor, so I decided to have a quick look on the floor, because I hadn't actually looked properly. And then we just carry on. So I decided to come down here first, because this is a one-off corridor, whereas the other way there's a couple of branches. So I feel like it's easier to do this bit first. It's easier and it makes more sense. But the blood won't clean. This is a confusing thing for me, because you have to get the right specific point, otherwise it won't work, or it won't clean away, which is annoying, but I eventually find it. And then yeah, just a case now of collecting all the bits up, trying not to hit them on the walls, because then they'll need to be cleaned. See, it was what I said before, the bigger bit, always take it to the furnace completely, rather than putting it in one of these buckets, because it's a bit too big really. And that's the last of them. So now I just need to clean the floor and the walls. You see now, look, I can just go dab, 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 dab all over the place, because there is nothing else there. What it would do is it would clean it and then start putting black marks on the wall, so I would know. Now I'm pretty good with the gun, but you will a bit later see it spark out, because I think a rivet in the wall is a bullet hole, and I'm not 100% sure. So you see that wall and that corridor is completely done now. So I'll get myself a new bucket. And you see, that's the way to do it, because if it wasn't clean, like I said just now, it would actually clean it to a point where it would then start leaving messy marks. so you can tell that actually it did need cleaning. Whereas if it doesn't need cleaning, you can keep dabbing it forever and it won't make a difference, and that way you know it's definitely clean. And yeah, like I said at the beginning, I wasn't 100% sure how to use that sniffer, but I've really got to grips with it. So I think I know roughly how to use it now, and I feel like with that sniffer it is largely you need sound. You have to have audio for that, for it to work. Otherwise you just don't understand. Yeah, there's no real way of knowing that there's any kind of issue. It doesn't tell you what the issues are, but yeah, it's one of those where you just need to kind of go around and guess, really. So, as you can see, every time you clear a new point, you have to move everything back. You just keep moving things forward. It's the best way to do it, because then you know for a fact that you're slowly working through. And one of the best ways to do it is, if you are using the sniffer, is listen to the area. And when you get absolutely no reaction at all, then you move on. I don't like going back and rehashing areas. It makes more sense to me to just go and do one area completely, and then you're done. That's it. Just one area done, move on. So you see, now I'm going to go on the roof because I can see that there's some bits that need dealing with up here. So I'll do the same thing. You just drop them all roughly the same area, because if you drop them all in the same area, then you only get a small bit of mess in one place. So it's not too bad. And you can move all those bits, and then you can just clean up the area that you look, footprints. It's the only time there were footprints, and they were my own making as well. So burn this, get this one out of the way. See, in this level, the furnace is very much just the furnace. You can put anything in it, it doesn't matter, and it just gets rid of it. In some levels, you have to be careful, because what can happen... Oh, hold on, I think this might be the bit with a rivet, and you'll get to see it spark and put soot all over the place. Because I'm looking, you have to make sure you don't miss a bullet hole. Let's have a look. It might be a bit later, maybe. Oh no, there you go, look. Whoa, sparky spark. And that means I've now got to clean it, but I don't have a bucket or it just caused me a whole other mess. And you see, that gives me more. Yeah. There you go. Cleaned it all up. And now I have to get rid of the hole that I made. So you have to be a little bit careful with that gun. It's annoying. It really is. But yeah, it's coming along nicely. Very little left now. We're pretty much down to this one small corridor and then the room in which we started. But yeah, as I was saying, sorry. There are some levels in which, if you drop a bucket or a collector in the furnace incorrectly, then it can put mess all over the floor, around and on the dispenser. So you have to be a bit careful. And I think, I can't be 100% sure, I think that some of the dispensers as well, the more messier they are, the more they'll give you rubbish rather than what you need. For example, in a moment, you are going to witness the bucket, the bucket dispenser, the trash bucket dispenser, give me body parts rather than a dispenser. Now the problem with that is it just causes more of a mess. But from what I can understand, there's very little you can do about that, other than just make sure the dispensers are clean all the time. So I decided to get rid of this. I think this is it actually. I decided to get rid of that because, you know, it's mostly full now with body parts. Get myself a new one. There you go. Just dispenses parts. So now I need another bucket because now it's making more of a mess. At first I decided to just ignore it. And then I think, well no, I need to do it as well now, so let's just pick these up. And you see that one is stuck in the floor, so I need to get the broom out. See, look, I touched the walls and now there's blood all over the walls. So much more mess than there was to start with. But again, you have to clean it up because the more messy it is, the more chance there is it will dispense more body parts. But there you go, I'm in the final room now. So now it's just the final runs of the level. And for me, here's one of those weird where it's a definite sense of accomplishment to be able to look around everywhere and think of how it was to start with compared to what it looks like now. It's such a better thing. I do love it. But you see, I've always been the kind of person that likes like organisation as well as like things actually being clean. It's nice. But the one thing I'll say is, if there are any developers watching this, which I doubt they are, but if there are, and I know you probably get this quite a bit and this was your choice and everything, but I really don't like your system to tell people how well they did. Because at the end, you'll see it in a minute, at the end of every level, you receive a series of newspaper clippings to tell you, there'll be a little story on them that will say like, either you did incredibly well and there wasn't a single bullet hole in any of the walls whatsoever, well done. Or it will say, there were bullet holes all over the wall, you did terrible, you didn't complete it. Now, there's no in between. I don't understand why you can't just give me, do the funny joke and do the, oh my god, you know, it was so blah 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 blah. But then at the bottom, or on another page, just put like a percentage of how many of each thing I did. Because I believe, like, obviously for everything you have to do, you get a little news clipping about it. So you get one for kind of the blood and the stuff you need to clean. You get one for the rubbish that needs to be incinerated, for the blood, for the body parts, for the bullet holes. And you see here, look, you can see it's making noises. Now, I wasn't listening to it when I was playing it, because as far as I'm concerned now, I am finished. So I'm going back over it now, because I want to see exactly how it's doing and how I did, and where it needs work, because I can't see anything else now. So you see, I'm using it now just to find out, but it's when you come out of here and go into the corridor here. So that's why I feel now it is definitely above, up. There is definitely something I haven't done up there. And it makes me even more annoyed. Because I just wish I knew what it was I hadn't done, you know? I want it just to give me a percentage at the end. Or even give me the level. Give me this level now, as it is now. But let me like fly around it. And just kind of like highlight where the stuff is that I haven't done. So anywhere there's either blood or a bullet hole, make it like luminous and put everything else in black and white. And then I can just fly around the level looking at what I've missed. I mean, that's a bit much. Just give me a percentage. I just want to know. And I know there is a way of doing it. So you see, I click on active and I click on that I've done it. I know that if you do, there is another setting for this. And if you choose that, it gives you an overall percentage of your clean. But that doesn't help me. I don't want an overall percentage. I want individual percentages for each thing. And you must have them, because you wouldn't be able to know how well you've done if you don't have an overall percentage. But you see, yeah, you get a really good report, doing really well, I've been promoted. So you come back in here, and I'm standing on the sink for some reason. And then when I go back and check, there you go, you can see 99%. That is how much I did. 99%. I was 1% away from completion. And I know for a fact it was that bit. It was that one. It was that one that was up on that thing. But there's nothing much I can do about it. It's done. And I'm annoyed. But I enjoy it. I loved it. And I am even more excited for next week's episode. I'm sure if you've seen the game, you know exactly what it is. But I'm going to be 100... I will guarantee now, 100% completion rate. Next week it starts. Join me. Happy holidays to everyone. Please watch some of my stuff. Subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you again next time.